This is Andy Pro for Boxing Social. I'm joined by Booker T. Huffman. We'll just go with Booker T as that's what everybody knows you as.
Yep.
Booker, I appreciate your time. It's very late now. It's about 9:30ish. A bit surreal for me. As I said to you, I used to watch you in wrestling myself, 6-time world champion, as you've said. But we're out here in Las Vegas ahead of Wilder-Ortiz to the rematch. What are your thoughts on the fight?
I'm looking forward to a great fight, first and foremost, but I'm thinking it's going to be more exciting than people are thinking. Right now, the consensus are, Wilder's going to go out there and finish the thing early, but I really think Ortiz has got so much to fight for in a fight like this. Even being 40 years old, I think he's put himself in the best position to go out there and have a great night, and by literally just struggling through fight camp, putting himself through pain, getting himself in the best shape he possibly can, getting himself down to the lowest weight that he's been in quite some time at 236 pounds as well. So I think it's going to be a very exciting fight, and I'm kind of going with Ortiz to actually pull this thing out somehow late, probably around round 8. Yeah.
How are you kind of seeing the fight play out when they're in the ring?
What was that?
How are you seeing the fight play out when they're in the ring from like a tactical standpoint?
Well, I think, of course, with the southpaw stance that Ruiz-Ortiz comes with, he's going to be a puzzle to figure out, especially early for Deontay Wilder. But then again, Deontay Wilder can try to override that and try to go out there and land a big shot early and just change the whole name of the game. The landscape could totally shift. But Deontay Wilder, of course, he's a guy that got a big punch, could change the fight just like that, just like the last fight. But I do think in this fight, I think the better boxer is Ortiz. I think the better boxer puncher is Wilder, as well as Wilder's the younger guy, and his confidence right now is soaring through the moon. The way he talks, he seemed like he talks it into existence. He tried to make it happen before he ever get to the ring, and I watched him at the weigh-in. He seemed like the fight is already over, and he's thinking, Tyson Fury maybe. We'll see.
Well, that's what I was about to ask you. But everybody's kind of waiting for the Tyson Fury rematch with Deontay Wilder, expected to take place in February. If Deontay's successful on Saturday night, are you surprised with that in mind? Deontay has decided to have this rematch with Lewis.
Yeah, I'm really surprised, but that just there again show you how confident he is. For him to say, "Hey, I'm going to give this guy another shot," as well as it's huge of Deontay Wilder to give Ortiz another shot, because win or lose in this fight for Ortiz, it's a win because he's going to get a big payday. At the end of the day, I think that's what boxing is all about. I remember way back in the day when Muhammad Ali came, back, and he needed someone like Joe Frazier to, hey man, put me on, you know what I mean? Give me a piece of the action. And I think that's what this is. And I think to see two brothers actually with so much in common in the ring as well as out of the ring. Deontay Wilder got a little girl that's battling, through stuff, and Ortiz got a little girl that's battling, as well. And then to see both of them, the dads in the ring clashing together, I think it's pretty honorable for both of them.
And obviously, just to stick with the heavyweights, in a couple of weeks' time, we'll see Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz contest their rematch again. What are your thoughts on that one, Booker?
Oh man, I think it's going to be a good fight. Being able to take it to Saudi Arabia is neutral ground there. Nobody has a huge advantage in that fight right there. I think Ruiz is going to come to fight as well. If you looked at what he's been doing lately, he's in the best shape that he's ever been in. He's actually got abs, and I don't know if that's going to work for him or work against him. He can start thinking he's looking good, you know what I mean, and start hanging out with a lot of girls and whatnot. You never know. But I think Anthony Joshua is going to come a totally different fighter. I think the first fight in Madison Square Garden, I really think Anthony Joshua had so many things going on in his head, and the fight actual plan was afterthought. I think he thought he was going to go out there and bing and hold on to the title and move on to the next guy. I think he thought Ruiz was a tune-up fighter, a guy that was handpicked for him to go out there and beat, and things backfire. I think any given Saturday night with boxing, anything can happen if a guy come out there not prepared, because preparation is the only luck you're ever going to have. So hopefully Anthony Joshua has prepared himself to go over to Saudi Arabia to recapture, the throne.
In your opinion, who is the best heavyweight in the world? It's a discussion that many have every day.
I think Tyson Fury right now is the best. He's the lineal champion. The guy who beat the guy, which was Klitschko back in the day. I think the fight with Wilder, a lot of people, if you had, just added up the consensus, I think the people would say, he won that fight. And to see him and Wilder go out there and do it all over again, I think is only fitting. And hopefully we'll see that in sometime, mid-2020.
Which rematch, in your opinion, is bigger? Wilder-Fury 2 or Ruiz-Joshua 2?
I think Wilder-Fury is bigger just because of the names, two bigger names. Ruiz kind of like is a guy who's just gonna, that came out of the ashes, and created, something. Definitely organically with a good right hand punch that landed high on the head behind the ear, which definitely can change the whole name of the way, the game, the way of a fight is going. So I think the first one.
And you mentioned Tyson Fury. He crossed over into your old sport just a few weeks ago. What did you make of his crossover into WWE?
Nah, man, you could tell Tyson Fury, he loved it. It wasn't something like a game he was playing. You could tell it's something like a bucket list thing more than anything. Like, man, I got a chance to hang out with the wrestlers. And that's the way it is a lot of times, when you see guys, from other genres, they love that, and they love to be a part of it. It's just like for me, to be a part of boxing and to be, just in this environment. I love it, so I can only imagine how he felt. And I even hear Deontay Wilder, trying to get a piece of the action, as well, and step inside the square circle. So we'll see, man. It's pretty cool.
Just a couple more quick questions before I do let you shoot off and enjoy the rest of your night. We spoke about it off camera, your passion for boxing, where exactly did it come from and where does it go back to?
It's going back to when I was a kid. I used to fight all the time, when I was a kid, and get into, like a lot of street fights. But Muhammad Ali was my idol, when I was coming up. I always wanted to be like Muhammad Ali. I got a photo of Muhammad Ali and I on my wall at home, and he invited me to his hotel room to take a photo with him and talk with him, early in my wrestling career. But I go back to the, Jack Dempsey, Jack Johnson, of course, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Sugar Ray Leonard, Hagler days. In the fight game, it's just something that's always been a part of my family. We've always just, flocked around the television back in the day. We didn't have pay-per-view. We had Wide World of Sports that came on Channel 13. And every time, all of the big fights were on, regular television, and we always watched those big fights back in the day. And those days hold near and dear to my heart, and I think that's why still to this day I'm still trying to find those feelings and those moments I had when I was a kid.
And my final question, which is kind of going to be a tough one for you to answer on the spot, but what's your favourite boxing fight?
Favorite boxing fight definitely would be Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas, Tokyo, Japan. Buster Douglas had lost his mother. The odds were, maybe 30-1 odds, something like that. And Buster Douglas went out and, did something very, very special that night. And that was win the heavyweight championship from an indestructible Mike Tyson, So it was a night to remember, a night that seared in my brain. Yeah, one of the best fights of all time.
Well, Booker T, I appreciate your time. I know it's very late. Thank you, Speak to myself. Boxing Social. Enjoy the rest of your night.
All right. Thanks very much, man.